This was me, a young, successful professional musician who traveled the country with her deadly cute husband, who was also a professional musician. Everybody thought we made beautiful music together, but the truth was that life was pretty bumpy in our marriage. Our career was strong, and we worked a lot. That's what carried us through. Until 1995, when everything kind of went crazy in our lives. Rock and I were separated after 6 years of marriage. My grandmother had just passed unexpectedly. I was hit in the first of 2 car accidents, and then my dad began the process of dying at the very young age of 49 from complications to type 1 diabetes. If there were ever a perfect storm of events to have your life crash and burn, this was mine. My body started changing. I started having the weirdest symptoms. My skin started changing. My hair started falling out. What didn't fall out turned like Bozo the Clown colored orange. I started having pains in my joints all day long, suffered from depression and anxiety. I had chronic sinus infections, reactions to food, not only in my stomach where I was trying to find the bathroom all the time, but I had huge fatigue after I'd eat. I had heavy menstrual periods, erratic sleep where I was tired all day and wired all night, dizziness, brain fog, panic attacks. I suddenly became sensitive to lights and sounds and sensitive to chemicals. And of course, weight gain. I mean massive amounts of weight gain, like over 100 pounds in a year kind of weight gain, until I looked like this. I'm smiling in this picture, but I was in pain and I was a mess. The doctors didn't know what was wrong with me. As my symptoms increased, so did the meds they put me on, but nothing was working. I got worse instead of better, and I spent many nights either in the ER being treated or sleeping in my car right outside of the ER so I could go in quickly if I really was in need. I was scared. The doctors told me that I had reason to be scared because they told me there was nothing they could do for me and that I was dying. And that if by some sort of miracle I did live, I'd never have children. It was daunting, and I was devastated. But that's not the end of the story. There's more. Hi, I'm Stacey Robbins. I'm an integrated wellness coach, a speaker, and the author of the book You're Not Crazy and You're Not Alone: Losing the Victim, Finding Your Sense of Humor, and Learning to Love Yourself Through Hashimoto's. Even though I was devastated, and it was a super hard time beyond any words could describe to have people tell you your life was ending, there was also something within me that had this spark of hope and this deep hunger to know what's going on and how can I get out of this. There was some kind of deep, deep belief that I had that I could. I had a vision in my mind of me trimming weeds, me sitting there on the ground, with a little hand clipper trimming weeds. And I thought, I don't want to trim weeds anymore. I want to pull them up by the roots. I want to know what the root cause is of this disease that I'm dealing with. I was eventually diagnosed with Hashimoto's. Hashimoto's is an autoimmune condition where the body is attacking its own thyroid. So it sees itself as an enemy, not as a friend. I started researching like crazy, and I traveled all over the country to different practitioners and healers and healing conferences that address the mind-body-spirit connection. At some point, I asked myself, well, let me see, if my body is attacking itself, where have I been doing that in my life? Where have I been waging war against me? And I sat down and I noticed my thoughts, patterns, habits in my life, relationships that I was in, the punishing partnerships that I was in as well. And when I started seeing that I had other places in my life where there seemed to be a war against me, I looked at how they were playing out. I noticed that I'd stay up way late at night to get all my work done, but I wasn't listening to my body when it said it needed to rest. I was saying yes to people instead of no, I need to put a pause on that, or I need to not do that. I said yes all the time. I ate foods that didn't serve me, that made me feel exhausted and gave me stomach aches and made me just a wreck of a person. I got myself into relationships where there was a lot of rejection, a lot of people picking on the things that I needed to change instead of accepting who I was. And I found myself in business relationships that had a punishing component to them, where there was a lot of fear-based action on my part, because if I didn't do things right, there would be this huge or else. Well, I didn't just stop there. I didn't just stop at what I was doing, or I started looking at why I was doing it. I started looking at what those beliefs were underneath that were driving those thoughts and those actions and those relationships to be what they were. What I came to was discovering a core limiting belief that I had. Actually, a few of them. Now, a limiting belief, you go, what is that? That's like some kind of new language. It's really not. It's just a limiting belief can show up as this discouraging voice in your head that tells you that you can't have that good thing or do that good thing, and it usually gives you a reason why, usually justifies it. Well, when I looked down at what my core limiting beliefs were, I came up with this really thematic thing, and it was that I wasn't worthy, that I wasn't worthy of love, that I wasn't worthy of the good things in life, that I wasn't even worthy of living. That was super important for me to come to. It was like this huge aha moment, because it was really what was driving my bus, running my show, whatever you want to call it. It was the thing that was driving me to do those unhealthy things in my life, where I was at war against myself. When I got clear on the unworthiness that I was going through and the beliefs that I had underneath, I was able to shift some things. My thoughts started changing. My relationship choices were different. I got into really healthy partnerships with people in my business. And more than that, I started healing. My body started healing as my beliefs started shifting. And here's what I discovered was why. Because our healing can only go as far as our belief will let it. Our healing can only go as far as our most limiting belief will let it. Because we'll eventually sabotage every effort of our healing if we don't believe that we're worth living. I ended up with this weird gift of a thing called Hashimoto's. I never would have raised my hand for it if someone said, hey, you want to go through something hard that's going to make you devastated and gain more than 100 pounds? Yeah, no, I would not have raised my hand for that. But the lessons that have come through it, how I've gotten in touch with an even deeper core belief that really serves me, a beautiful, unlimited belief, and how I've been able to share that with others, either through my book or coaching or just my family, just to be able to pass that along to the kids that I have, that the doctor said I never would, and the husband who I have, that we've been together now almost 30 years. Those beliefs shifting from limited ones to unlimited ones have literally transformed my whole life. I'm really excited to share more about in the next video with you how those beliefs come into place and how we can shift them together. I'd love for you to share with me in the comments below, what are some common limiting beliefs that you've experienced, that you see around you or even within you, if you would be so bold to share. I know that every time we share, it really helps our community be stronger and heal together. I know that we're stronger together. I want to remind you that Hashimoto's doesn't have to be the end of your health. It can be the beginning of your healing. See you soon.